A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... He landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
It's time for Season 3, Round 3, the Rescan Mid-Ohio 200K. And Mid-Ohio, with its 13 turns and 2.25 miles of length, has already got me in twists and knots. And I'm sure these drivers are feeling about the same here as we're ready to go for 52 laps. around a mid-road course. Welcome into Turn 200's coverage of Truck 200. My name is Tommy Cook. We got Matt Williamson alongside. Matt, Mid-Ohio, not a track for any series that we see too often here on Turn 200. I will say, I think in preparing for this race, I have a little bit more of an appreciation for this track than I used to. But that doesn't mean that the drivers are going to feel the same about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a track that I'm sure I shouldn't say most, but a lot of the drivers here probably don't have a ton of experience at. I know there's a few that have run it quite a few times, and we've had a couple of races here at Mid-Ohio on the channel, and a couple of these drivers have been in both of those. So, I mean, it's not completely uncommon place to have it here, but I think it probably was a little bit of a learning experience this week for a lot of the drivers, trying to learn their way around Mid-Ohio.
Well, let's take a look at the point standings. We're 2 weeks in, no drops factoring in yet, but some drivers who had off weeks compared to Daytona and some drivers who came roaring back to life.
Yep, here's a look at the points. Justin Michael atop the point standings here. He sits at the number 1 spot. Chris Howell sits there in second. You're going to notice Charlie Widener, your points leader from last week, who obviously won the Return 200 at Daytona. He slipped back to a tie for 6th with Caleb Bency. Not sure Bency's going to be able to make it here tonight. Mike Milfelt, Scott Patton, and Brad Slagle are in the top 5 here. Gavin Sanders sits here in 8th, still in the top 10. Heath Smith, Brody Gunter, they are in your top 10 right now at the moment. Rob Haynes, Will Weiser, Steve Roman, Brandon Groover, TJ Crampton, and Kyle Zittel will be your top 16. And you'll notice that we have to the good and not to the good on the points here, as we do have the playoffs. Only 8 drivers going to make that one. So still very early in the season. No reason to hit the panic button at the moment, but this is one of those races that if you put in the homework, you could have the upper hand here tonight.
You absolutely could. If you notice there in 9th and 10th, Heath Smith did not race at Atlanta. Brody Gunter did not race at Daytona. And they are the first 2 out by virtue of their second place finishes. I mean, it pays big to finish really in the top 10 here. Half of the points across the field are in the top 10. But it really pays to finish towards the front of this field. And we're going to have some interesting characters towards the front of the field here tonight. Looking at the qualifying rundown, first of all, nobody's getting bumped tonight. That's the good news. There are only 35 drivers here, so everybody will get to take to the starting grid. But taking a look, James Lehman, did you have him pegged for the pole here tonight? I sure didn't. Knew he's decent on the road courses, but outpacing Gavin Sanders is really, really something. Will Weiser, hey, he ran well last week. He's up in P3. Brody Gunter, Mario Cappellucci, and Kyle Allen, 2 drivers that need a big rebound after Atlanta last week. Nate Siefker finally going to make the grid. He's just outside of the top 10. I mean, there are a lot of guys spread through this field that could really do some damage here tonight in a good way. There are plenty of people who are good at the road courses and bad at the road courses that could also do a lot of damage. And could turn this into the Go Bowling 200K at Mid-Ohio very, very quickly. We'll hope that does not happen. Hello to everybody hanging out with us. Joshua Rutherford about to take to the starting grid. Don Golden, it's Gabe Plays. Thanks to anybody that's hanging out and watching and getting ready for 200 kilometers around Mid-Ohio. 2.25 miles, 13 turns, 52 laps. And this is how the starting lineup will shake out here tonight. It is James Lehman with his first Truck 200 pole. Nicely done for him. Gavin Sanders will line up on the outside pole. He has quite a few road course victories up his sleeve. Will Weiser, Brody Gunter on row number 2. It's Mario Cappellucci and Kyle Allen, Division 1 Motorsport teammates on row 3. Matt Schlosser, road course ace from the Venom Truck Series, starting in 7th. Next to last week's winner at Atlanta, it's Justin Michael in P8. Sean Bounty and Mike Milfelt then will round out your top 10 starters. Nate Siefker and Andy Poliski on row number 6. It's Zach Flaum, Indica Scarlett on row number 7. Scott Patton has finished 2nd in Truck 200 competition on the road courses before. He's way back in 15th with Cody Claiborne to his outside. Dale Weiser and Joshua Matacek on row number 9. It's Nick Goyette and Dakota DeMade, who will round out the top 20. He rallied for a top 10 last week late in the running at Atlanta. Podium finisher last week, Rob Haynes will start in 21st with Luke Peterson to his outside. Chris Howell second in the points, 23rd on the starting grid. J.J. Wang will make his first appearance of this season and start in 24th. Brandon Groover, Kyle Zittel on row number 13. Charlie Widener deep in the lineup in 27th. Peter Donchak to his outside. Brad Slagle, Steve Roman will line out the top 30 with Dan Meglin, Joshua Rutherford, Christopher Kresge, Heath Smith, and Corey Rutherford, the 35 drivers who will get after it here today at Mid-Ohio. We got about 30 seconds before these trucks roll down the front straightaway. Matt Williamson, what are the weather conditions? What are the strategy notes? What are we looking at here today at Mid-Ohio?
Yeah, weather conditions always important here at a road course. 97 degrees is the track temperature right now. It could get pretty cloudy here throughout the day, so I feel like that has a chance to go down as we roll along through this one. We'll have to keep an eye on it, though. Our fuel capacity is about 32, maybe 34 laps or so just going to be a one-stopper here for the 200-kilometer race. What is a kilometer? I know. 3 extra sets of tires. Not that they're really going to use them here. They're just going to take that one set when they do come down for their pit stop. No fast repairs, as always. And remember, bonus points are paid out. That's going to be on lap 26, or at the completion of lap 26 here. However, there is no stage break on any of the races, but especially here at the road courses. And there are full course cautions should we need one. Those are actually thrown by iRacing, not thrown by our race control here for this race. But here at Mid-Ohio, there's kind of a lot of runoff. I don't feel like that's going to have to be used.
You sure hope not. This was a decision made by the admin staff after last season. Really, at the Daytona road course, everybody said, hey, we had a lot of fun, but we are exhausted. No cautions in that race. Kind of sucked. So looking at the road courses we had this season, figuring that they would be similarly exhausting, we said, well, we don't want to just throw a bunch of cautions, but iRacing seems to be pretty lenient about big accidents, so we'll give iRacing the chance, and if they decide to be flippant with it, we'll just turn the cautions off. It's that simple. But not envisioning, first of all, even a big crash. Decent-sized skirmishes will pop up, especially here at Mid-Ohio. This truck, around a couple of these turns, as you can imagine, is pretty loose. But like Matt said, there's plenty of places to duck off and escape with your life if you need to. But there are a couple of points, particularly in the corner we just went through there, that could see a bit of carnage pop up from time to time.
Yeah, it's easy to try and push it through that little section, and it's very easy to get yourself off of the course. And when you get off the course there, you have a lot of speed, get a couple tires off in the grass, spin yourself out. It's pretty easy to do.
Headed through the carousel. It's time for a rescan, says Caleb Bensey. The truck is in motion at Mid-Ohio. Into turn number 1, a couple of bumps and bangs among your top 5 and top 10 drivers, but it's James Lehman escaping, headed to the keyhole with the lead. Sanders in second. Big lock up there, and a move to the inside goes Brody Gunter, really smoking the tires. Oh, that's one around. It's Mike Milfeld.
Oh, a couple going to have to go wide. That's Josh Monachek in the 60.
Milfeld from the top 10 will drop all the way to the tail of the field as we head towards China Beach.
Gunter really took a dive to the inside of Sanders to get to second.
Things pretty clean through China Beach, now headed into the back half of the circuit here on the opening lap through Thunder Valley.
Lined up single file, about 15 deep here at the moment.
Back through the carousel one more time. The long looping right and a short left. That is the lap around Mid-Ohio, and you got to do that 51 more times. Lehman leads the opener. Gunter, Sanders, Capellucci, Weiss are the top 5. Schlosser, Michael, Allen, Siefker, Boundy the top 10. Change for position 13th, Cody Claiborne trying to take it away from Scott Patton, or rather the opposite. Patton does take it away from Claiborne.
Claiborne, a couple tires off in the grass. Oh, there's one off further back. I think that might be Indica Scarlet. It was a purple truck. Indeed it was.
Ascend into the keyhole for Kyle Allen is going to net him 7th. It puts Justin Michael back a spot. Michael has the opportunity to answer. Nate Siefker made up a couple of spots there on the opening lap. He is right here in 9th. Oh, contact. Indica Scarlet and Chris Howell have gotten together. Howell is stopped on the track and will continue to fall backwards here, but is now back in motion. Still pretty tightly grouped here for Lehman, Gunter, and a bit of a slip up there for Sanders. He'll lose some time. But Lehman's still outpacing everybody on the battlefield right now. Oh, problems for Steve Vroman. He is backwards into the barriers.
It'll be interesting to see how much tire wear and tire save comes into play here at Mid-Ohio. We know that James Lehman can be very fast at all sorts of different racetracks, but he likes to push it really hard at the beginning of a run, especially in the beginning run of a race. It'll be interesting to see if Gunter, Sanders, maybe Capellucci are able to save a little bit and get a big surge later on in this one, as Siefker is going to try and take a dive down to the inside of Justin Michael.
Woo!
Ooh, man.
Talk about fresh matchups. That's a fresh one. Oh, and Siefker going to send it a bit too wide, though, and Lehman, or rather Justin Michael, will be able to fight back.
Oh, contact between the two.
Well, I can't say I'm surprised.
All of a
Siefker
sudden,
is ready and raring to go.
Sean Boundy able to pull right up to the back of Justin Michael after Michael and Siefker got together there.
Oh, Kyle Zittle's crashed, so is
yep.
Dan Miglin. Separate incidents, same corner. And Zittle in a tough spot here as Corey Rutherford barely sneaks by. To your point about James Lehman from earlier, we know he's a good sports car racer, and this is the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It's in the name of the track. This is a truck, but you have to imagine Lehman has some time and laps on this circuit, no doubt about it. It's not necessarily this track layout that will get you, though, if you can't conserve your equipment. It's the undulation. A lot of these blind rises and peaks and dips are going to make this truck damn near uncontrollable if you don't take care of your stuff early.
Here's an onboard shot with Andy Poliski. He is just outside of the top 10, trying to make a move on Sean Boundy. Slow sections of this race course here in the back half. You hear the feathering of the throttle, never able to really get all the way down on it. And now, Poliski's going to put the power down just for a moment.
Oh, Brad Slagle's crashed. He's back in motion. He got into the barriers pretty hard, though. And that will be the first meatball of the day for the 052.
Oh, I think Nick Goyette may have gotten off course there as well.
Several drivers with their first career starts tonight. Goyette is one of them. Joshua Rutherford as well. Chris Howell off the track. Go ahead.
Always fun to see these names come out and race a truck when Many of them do not ever do so, if at least regularly, if not maybe once a year.
They do it for us, and we appreciate that. Sanders and Gunter are not going away from James Lehman, and Mario Capellucci is closing in on this trio as well. He was the fastest of the top 5 last time around.
And Lehman and Gunter kind of trading lap times here. Lehman might get a 10th one lap, then Gunter gets one the next.
Well, one thing's for sure, Lehman's going to have to work for it if he wants to get the dub here tonight, because Gunter has not let him out of his crosshairs yet.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that one.
This is why we do it right here. 3 different groups, all represented in the top 3, all slugging it out early in this one. Lehman versus Gunter versus Sanders. Corey Rutherford is off the track in the carousel in a precarious spot.
Oh boy,
It
lots of
boxes
traffic.
Heath Smith in.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Lots of traffic trying to get through there. Dan Miglin, Heath Smith. I believe that's Chris Hall and Steve Roman.
Those are all drivers that have had a heck of a time so far in just 6 laps here, or 5 completed laps.
So Will Weiser in the 44 sits here in the top 5. After the 44 of Weiser, you got to go over 3 seconds back to Matt Schlosser in 6. So these top 5 are really kind of separated from the field. But, I mean, even from Sanders back to Capellucci at this point, it's about a 1.5 second gap as well. So top 3, then the next 2, and then a pretty decent margin back to 6th.
So one of the complaints about the length of this race compared to the fuel was that there may not be a variance of strategy, all that much anyway. We know these drivers, if they're thinking at least, are going to stay out till the completion of lap 26 to get top 10 bonus points. But the fuel window logistically opens before that.
Yeah, I mean, they could come in as early as lap 20, maybe even a couple laps earlier if they really wanted to. But, I mean, for those drivers that are, you know, in the top 10 or maybe 11th and 12th, maybe they would have a shot to get to 10th. Those drivers probably going to be staying out. But after that, I mean, you do have some options if you're not in the running for those points. Oh, Weiser and Capellucci nearly got together there.
Division 1 Motorsports down Jake Johnson tonight, but they were down Kyle Allen last week as, I think Nate Siefker's had a
has
problem.
a problem.
Siefker off the track. I believe that was in China Beach. He's back up and rolling. Oh, Peter Donchak in the exact same spot is off the track as well. And he is back on. Yeah, it was a rough week for Revision 1 last week, but they are off to a much better start here with Mario up in P4. Trying to fend off Will Weiser, who himself had a top 5 finish last week, just missed the podium, had a great run at Atlanta. Really came on strong late in that one and avoided all the late race calamity.
Just saw a replay of the incident for Siefker there. Just got loose going up the hill, getting ready to turn left for the left-hander.
Heath Smith is down pit road. He's had a couple of problems already this race.
And that is not one of those early pit stops we were talking about where he would be able to make it to the end. He's going to have to come in again if he's going to complete this one.
He missed Atlanta last week, finished runner-up at Daytona to start the season, so he's still in a decent spot points-wise, but you don't want it to snowball against you, even with a short track next week.
But after the spin for Siefker, he is now going to try and work his way back through a bit of the field. He's taken on Cody Claiborne right now. This is to get to 13th. Dakota DeMade is going to try and follow Siefker through.
All familiar names for each other, and they've got Zach Flaum a couple spots up the road here as well. Flaum running in P11. This is for 13th, 14th, and 15th. So the RIL OGs, Claiborne sends it a bit deep there. It's going to open the door for the Demigod to sneak through.
Zach Flaum under a little bit of fire from Scott Patton here. Patton was applying the pressure just about half a lap ago. And there's a pretty good little group all together here, led by Justin Michael, who sits in 8th right now.
So up front, Brody Gunter is backed off a bit from James Lehman, was nearly a second behind. Now he started to close back in. But Gavin Sanders is closed in rather quickly here on Gunter. So Sanders has been able to maintain his pace.
And we're going to take a full lap around here with Sanders as he has been applying pressure to Brody Gunter. Big downshifts there, really getting the RPMs revved up. A little bit of engine braking being used here in the truck. And that is
tricky lap.
Yep, full lap around there for Sanders. Gary Rainey brings up a good point. Scott Patton was able to get through on Zach Flaum. Patton has slowly worked his way up a few positions here. He's up 4 spots to 11th.
The pass on Flaum was more a mistake from Flaum, but you're both right. Scott Patton, one of our road course ringers, he is in the thick of it. He is always, but definitely one of the faster drivers on track right now. Faster than most of the top 10. He'll try and put himself in that top 10 with a pass here on Andy Poliski. Loose out of the keyhole.
Oh, Poliski's going to try and stay strong here. This is a tough spot to be on the outside.
Patton a little bit deeper on the brakes here, but he will make it stick. Oh, problems for Chris Howell and Dan Micklin. They have gotten together. Howell, boy, he's got to be happy there's not an incident limit. He is getting used up here today.
Top 3 starting to bunch up together here a bit. Lehman has fallen back a few tenths towards Brody Gunter.
I got nervous there because Gunter clipped the pit exit curb, but it didn't seem to upset the truck too much. Ooh, Sanders. Right up to the tailgate at there of the 01. Ooh, Capilucci off the track. Will Weiser has gone through. That is the swap for fourth.
That one's been a long time coming. Weiser has been applying the pressure, trying to get to fourth for quite a while here.
And looks like Dan Miglin is just towed back into the pits. Meanwhile, Scott Patton through to ninth on Sean Boundy.
Now we got a few things to look at here. Patton starting to work his way up the leaderboard.
Not a surprise, but next up will be Justin Michael, and that's always a tough pass, even if you're his teammate.
Oh, and Sean Bounty's having some problems. Andy Poliski also through now. But Bounty lost 2 positions in that one lap.
Problem for Luke Peterson running in 16th. He's now dropped down to 19th. Ran it wide in the carousel and got into the barriers. And he has got a meatball flag and did not make it down to pit road. So this is going to be a tough lap for the 89.
Trucks are starting to get pretty loose. Pretty tough to drive here.
Whoa, speaking of loose, James Lehman is hanging that 50 truck out. Oh, boy.
Not yet, partner. You still got another half of this run to go before you get those points paid out.
And Gunter senses it. He is ready to attack. Lehman fighting this truck, fighting to stay in the lead.
Just completed 13 laps. You got to complete another 13 before you get to the bonus points payout.
James Lehman can use some bonus points, that's for sure. Ooh, Andy Poliski's been off the track, and now Sean Bandy will reclaim that 10th position. Flaum and Siefker battling for position behind them. It's nice that Garrett Rainey could kick his feet up here tonight as race control and give us some stuff that we're not watching from time to time. Point out Mike Milfeld's charge back up through the field after the spin there in turn 2 on the first lap.
And he just got by Luke Peterson, who's making his way down pit road to
That's a
get
tough break
that
for Luke.
meatball hopefully taken care of.
Dan Miglin, Peter Donchak, and Heath Smith, the retirees of the event so far.
Nate Siefker trying to get through on Zach Flaum, continuing his way up through a few positions that he lost after incident. Not able to get it that time.
Oh, lap traffic coming into play here for the leaders. James Lehman just got checked up big time by Brad Slagle. And Brody Gunter really couldn't find a way through there, otherwise he would have. Top 3 nose to tail, truck length separating each of them. They've got 3 seconds back to Will Weiser in 4th, who has left Mario Capilucci behind. And that's your top 5 right now. Worth pointing out, Weiser's lap time is a little bit quicker than this top 3. He might find a way to claw his way into the mix here. That's not frowned upon. Go
I was
for
going
it.
to say, I'm not sure who's frowning upon that. Not when you're watching some truck racing, no doubt. Flaum and Siefker side by side yet again. Seifker trying to go outside in. Not sure he has the run. Flom's going to cover it off.
He might make the hole here.
Seifker going to try and take a dive to the inside. He's even at the moment. Boy, we saw a very similar move. Seifker trying to get through on Justin Michael early in this one. The number 2 takes 12th.
Nate's been sorely disappointed to have missed the first 2 races of the season. And he is making it up for it here with a definitely an entertaining run, but also a solid run as well.
Speaking of the 87 of Justin Michael, him and his old buddy, the 46 of Scott Patton, have found each other. We've never seen these two duking out before, have we?
No. Well, not going to see it this time. Michael just lets him through. That's the points leader making that move. That's not Justin Michael making that move.
Now, this is one of those races Michael is just going to take what he can get and probably not fight too hard for it. At least not at this juncture in the race. You still have a lot of racing to go.
Anything can happen, including Michael bending it himself. He nearly just did that. That was nearly a 4-wheel slide out of the keyhole for the 87. Half a second between each of the top 3.
We'll go to a battle for the top 15. Josh Matichek, Rob Haynes trying to take it away from Cody Claiborne.
And from Claiborne, who just ran it wide there. And Rob Haynes, I guess technically could run 199 this week because Hunter Leach isn't here. But the 3 of them got a long way up the road to Dakota DeMade.
I don't know. Somebody put some good work into the caricature of that 33. It looks pretty darn good on the side of that truck, I must say.
There you go.
Bonacek trying to find his way to the inside of the 31. Claiborne trying to use momentum to protect and keep the position, but the 60 going to try and stuff it up the inside here into turn number 1. Claiborne able to hang on to that for right now. Leaders still all in the same positions. James Lehman has not relinquished the lead thus far. Some lap traffic coming into play here, though.
It's Howell, who's had a tough go this race so far. On Christopher Kresge, threads the needle through on the 777. And Kresge going to get out of the way as the freight train is headed to the keyhole.
Oh, look
here's
at
a
this
move. Guns are going to try and wrap it here on the right side, curbing. Loose on corner exit, and that might cost him second, and it will. Sanders is through. Can he mount a charge here? Headed to China Beach.
Heads up driving by Sanders to try and take that position away. He does now, has an opportunity to take the lead.
Lehman getting his elbows out, not leaving any room here. He'll have the preferred positioning here to the inside, and now this might cost Sanders second right back.
Boy, this is a tough one to be
Wow.
side by side. Yeah, Sanders doesn't have much of an opportunity to keep that one there. And it's like it never even happened now.
Not sure you give Lehman the win on that one. I think you give the win to track position.
Right back to where we started.
Yep, like it never happened.
I love the move from Sanders to try and go for it. Unfortunately, cost him the spot he was able to make.
Don't look now. That 4-second gap back to Will Weiser is now just a second and a half.
Well, Weiser got through on Cappellucci about maybe 5 laps ago or so, and he started making up some time. He was obviously helped a little bit there by the battling amongst the leaders, but has still been making ground up slowly.
Weiser just sent it on Chris Howell in lap traffic. And he will continue to try and mount his charge. Heath Smith joining us in the chat. Bruno Miranda's here. Hello to the Season 4 Daredevil champion. Cheering on Brody Gunter.
Gunter's been pretty smart here thus far. I mean, he's made some aggressive moves, but hasn't gotten crazy with it. He was lucky not to cost himself second there. Able to take it back.
Hello to Alan Sanders. Ogling at the moves being made by Gavin, I'm sure. And there's plenty more to come.
Here's a battle.
Heavy lap traffic ahead. Go ahead.
Charlie Wider, Nick Goyette doing a little battling just outside the top 20. Charlie Widener, the winner of the Return 200. Trying to keep some positioning in the points race. We've got our very own Larry McReynolds in the chat here with us, Tommy.
Yes, we do. Garrett McRaney. It's not wrong, though. Patton is consistently top 5 fastest truck on track. Look at this flurry of activity in front of Lehman, Gunter, Sanders, and now Will Weiser.
Yeah, that's Steve Froman and Luke Peterson in front of them. Peterson is a couple laps down. Remember, he had to get a meatball taken care of at one point in this race.
Oh, Justin Michael has just crashed. He has hit the barrier quite hard. And that might be the end of the race. We'll see if he's got a meatball flag, but he's lost a ton of spots here.
Traffic now going to get through the 00 of Steve Vroman. But Vroman going a lap down, sits in 27th.
Look at this. Will Weiser just continuing to claw his way up into this mix.
So tough to set up passes here, though. It's one thing to make it up. It's another to make it happen, especially on the talent you have here in the podium positions at the moment.
Next up, Corey Rutherford, Kyle Zittel for the top 4 to try and get through. Oh, Sanders, a little bit of contact there into the right side quarter panel of Brody Gunter.
All right, nobody slip on a banana here. As they're going to try and make their way through the number 5 in the Chiquita banana paint scheme.
Goated.
Corey's going to move to the outside, give the leaders the inside here. Teammates with the 0-1 of Brody Gunter, by the way.
Yes, indeed. Running in the 26th position. Sure, he wanted to hold Lehman up a little bit more than that. Lehman is out to an 0.8 of a second advantage right now, as Gunter's still having to fend off Gavin Sanders. Sanders looks a lot cleaner under braking. The good news for him, there's a lot of braking around here. Still battling for 9th, Poliski and Boundy. Poliski through, and Siefker might get through here as well. You talk about drivers on the move. Nate Siefker is back into the top 10.
And just has to limit the mistakes from here on out. Still a lot of laps to go here. Not even to the halfway point yet.
Scott Patton, meanwhile, has caught Kyle Allen.
Whoa! My goodness, nearly made contact. Allen did with the 777 of Christopher Kresge. Had to lock it up.
Then ran it wide there out of the final turn. Might set up an opportunity here for Patton to attack into one. Tough corner to make a pass here with that curb there on the inside. And then you set yourself up on the outside of the keyhole. And I think Allen is going to hang on for now. But Patton looking to get through in a hurry. Crosses him over. Takes a peek. Door is cracked. Is it open enough? It might be. Patton will get through. Allen going to let him go by down the long straight and into the beach.
Shuffling just happened just behind them as well. Nate Siefker able to get through on Andy Poliski.
James Lehman has opened up this gap to nearly 2 seconds. Gunter has pulled the chute all of a sudden, and Sanders and Weiser nose to tail trying to get through. Sanders with a peek. Early break from Gunter, really getting his elbows out here.
This could open a door for Weiser in the 44 as well.
Do you want to risk it? Mario Cappellucci is in from P5 down pit road.
Interesting.
So he's not going for points. He's going for max positions at the end of it. Not going for stage points, that is.
Sanders going to stick to the outside here. But should he stay here, he'll have the inside into the left-hander.
I think he's got it.
Oh, man, that's tough. Oh, some contact.
Just a skosh. And it's going to be enough. Sanders through to second, and this time it'll stick.
Gunter on the inside here. That's a tough place to be. Weiser putting the pressure on.
Dip the tires into the grass for Will Weiser, and he will have to settle for fourth for now. And all this has allowed Lehman to really get a nice, healthy lead. 3 seconds now back to Sanders in P2. Gunter really starting to struggle here.
We're only going to get to see maybe a couple laps, but very interested to see what Sanders can do now that he is clear of Gunter and has a little bit of clear track in front of him to try and catch up to Lehman. What kind of pace does Sanders have with a little bit of clean air?
Cody Claiborne went way off in the beach. He's lost, it looks like, at least 2 spots to Matacek and Milfeld.
Will Weiser looking really solid here late in the run as well.
Sean Bounty's pitting as well.
Bounty was just kind of hovering around the top 10 there, was maybe going to get 1 or 2 points. Weiser, a dive to the inside of Gunter.
Ooh.
Oh, over the rumble strips.
They both looked a bit unsteady there on braking.
That is the ultimate game of chicken right there. Who is going to brake first? And will it kill us both if we miss it?
And the answer is probably yes. Oh, big slip up for James Lehman, and here is Gavin Sanders.
Oh,
that
Weiser locks it up.
3-second gap for the lead is gone. Lehman with a door on Sanders to have to defend this position. Lehman must have nearly lost it at some point. That gap evaporated quickly. Will Weiser is now off the train, but everybody else is back on, and it's a three-dog fight again.
Weiser locked it up big time, loses 5 seconds to Brody Gunter quickly there.
So seemingly nothing gained, nothing lost, except for Sanders moving up to second. This is the lap where stage points will be paid out. So if there was ever a time for a lead change for Gavin Sanders, I'd say it's right now.
Cavallucci under fire here from Andy Poliski. Or
Cavallucci.
rather, Cavallucci going through after the pit stop. Sorry.
There you go.
Cavallucci, even after coming down pit road, is still going to get some points paid out here, seemingly.
A couple of drivers who are not in the points here. Flaum, Milfelt, Claiborne, DeMaine, all coming in this time. Dale Weiser, Charlie Widener. Nick Goyette in as well.
Mike Milfelt, Dakota DeMade. Almost everybody between like 12th and 20th just came in that time.
Gavin Sanders is going to come down pit road. So he'll give up at least 1 point, maybe 2 or 3.
Well, he does have a good pit box here. We'll see when he's able to cross the line. There goes Weiser.
Yeah, he picked up 8 points instead of 9, but he is seemingly jumped Gunter and Lehman here. This might be his best opportunity to make a pass for the lead. Scott Patton is in this lap here as well.
That is some crafty work there.
Yes, it is.
Strategy.
You know, you lose 1 point in the stage, but, you know, you gain 15 on the victory points differential from first to second. Justin Michael... Or, excuse me, that's still Scott Patton. Justin Michael getting through while Patton's on pit road. And Sanders drops right in front of his good buddy Nate Seifert. Rob Haynes also down pit road here.
Josh Monacek coming down this time as well. That's always a comfortable feeling when you know you're coming out on cold tires and you're going to have to take it a little bit easy for maybe a lap around Mid-Ohio here, and you come right out in front of somebody you know and trust. That always makes you feel good. It's the worst when you come out on cold tires in front of somebody that you know is just going to push you like a dog.
Lehman and Gunter are going to answer this time, and that is good thinking. As Luke Peterson is around and parked in the middle of the track, off track for Scott Patton on cold tires. Will Weiser is down pit road as well.
Here comes Matt Schlosser, also from 4th.
Next up will be Kyle Allen. Allen is down pit road. So
and here comes Gavin Sanders.
Nate Seifert into the pits as well. Sanders going to blow right on by James Lehman. This will be at least a 2 or 3 second lead, if not more.
I don't know. Lehman got out of the pits pretty good there. I think this is only going to be about a second and a half.
Oh, problem for Zach Flaum. And he is nosed into a barrier.
Oh, and he can't really back up. He'd be right into the racetrack. Does a good job getting turned around without getting into anybody else.
Had a top 15 run going. Still can recover for that, but it's going to be a tough road ahead. JJ Wang has just slid through his pit box, trying to get himself situated here.
Well, Weiser and Poliski were just side by side. Weiser's going to get through to 5th. And I think Justin Michael leapfrogged Matt Schlosser on the pit stop here. Actually, I take that back. Justin Michael hasn't been down pit road yet. Schlosser gets through on the 87. Schlosser has been down pit road. Andy Poliski out in front of him by quite a few seconds has not either.
Oh, problem for Scott Patton. He's back up and rolling. Doesn't look like a meatball. Problem for Cody Claiborne now as well, and he is right in the middle of the track. Ooh.
Man, things are getting crazy here after pit stops.
Fresh tires, old tires, fresh drivers, and worn out drivers, I'm sure. It all plays a factor.
Just creeping up to the 3/4 of an hour mark. Just about to 45 minutes into this one. Over halfway at this point.
An hour and a half wheeling and dealing to Mid-Ohio is nothing to sneeze at. Even if you're not battling, even if you're just riding, you're just surviving here.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is. Kyle Allen was able to get through on Sean Boundy.
Brady Gunter about 2 seconds behind the top two. And Lehman is starting to close back in on Sanders here. Track temperature up to 111. I'm not sure what we started at, but we did start more in the morning, and we're about mid-afternoon at this point.
Yeah, I thought it would be a little bit cloudy, but it's really not. We started, I believe, at 97 degrees on the grid, so it is up about 15 degrees or so.
That's quite a bit. Justin Michael down pit road.
That means you're probably going to have to take a little bit better care of your tires here on this last run as well.
Nick Scarlett also coming down pit road.
Nate Seifker pulling up to the back of Sean Boundy here as well. So Boundy came in a couple laps earlier. No, there's some contact, and Seifker loops it. I think Seifker might have pushed it a little too hard there as Boundy was all the way to the outside of the racetrack. Take a look at that one again. Seifker locks it up big time. Barely makes contact with Boundy. Really doesn't affect Boundy in the 34 too much, but Seifker now going to have to try and make all of that track position back up again.
Traffic is side by side in front of the race leader, and that might be an opportunity here for James Lehman if he can find a hole.
Here is
Chris
the man.
Allen. Not going to make this easy.
And here's the man in the chase, James Lehman.
Oh, problem for Christopher Kresge. He's gone for a spin. He's back up and rolling.
Well, never mind the commentator curse. Garrett Rainey is proclaiming the race control curse.
Give us a break for a night.
Yeah. Haynes and Widener still with a 0x at this point.
So do want to point out that since Cappellucci came in early, he leapfrogged Will Weiser, and Weiser's had a couple of hiccups since then. So Weiser riding back at 5th, but he is still well ahead of Matt Schlosser at this point. But yeah, Cappellucci in the 11 truck back up to P4. Bertie Gunter, meanwhile, has lost touch with these top two. They have scooted away from him.
Nate Siefker's count back up to the 34. He's going to try and get it done again and may have to get it done in turn 2 again. We'll have an opportunity here through turn 1. Oh, boy, that is tight.
Around the outside, and Bounty pinned down, has no choice but to give the spot up.
And this is lap traffic in front of them. Steve Roman in the 00.
I just want to give a shout out to anybody that is still racing. I'm sure everybody would still be racing if they hadn't crashed up to this point. But this is a tough one. Sorry to say it might get tougher as well, as we're at North Wilkesboro next week for the throwback race. Still about a quarter of a second, half a second between Sanders and Lehman. Just a truck length or two separating the top two. 4 seconds back to Bertie Gunter in third. Another 5 between Gunter and Cappellucci in fourth. Will Weiser is closing in on Cappellucci from 5th. Schlosser, Patton, Allen, Siefker, and Bounty the top 10. With 20 laps to go.
Schlosser has been pretty quiet inside the top 10 here. Really hasn't had to duke it out with anybody thus far. He's been in 5th and 6th the most of the night here.
Well, the good news for him is he's got Scott Patton about 8.5 seconds behind. The bad news is Patton is faster, so that might be a problem for the 400 at some point.
Rob Haynes just got through on Justin Michael. It's like Michael's starting to struggle a little bit here.
I would imagine with the damage that he picked up from slapping the barrier really hard, that truck has just become even more difficult to drive. Like you said earlier, Michael probably just going to be happy to escape Mid-Ohio here today and see the checkered flag.
Weiser has caught Cappellucci in a hurry here. Weiser going to take a look to the inside in turn 1. Oh, man. Kind of able to get there. Cappellucci trying to shut the door.
Yeah, Weiser was 1.4 seconds faster last time around. He may have a great opportunity here into the beach, down the long straight. If he can get good drive out of the keyhole. Yeah, doesn't really get great drive out, though. Cappellucci might survive again. Sanders and Lehman have yet to make contact, but I'm sure they're tired of one another to this point. They have not left each other's sight this entire race. Oh, Lehman, big snap oversteer there.
Contact between Weiser and Cappellucci.
They've got lappers ahead of them. It's Goyette and Kresge, as Weiser just about had the same thing happen to him that happened to Lehman. Lehman's was a little bit worse, but still, tough deal when you're battling for position. Oh, problem for Steve Roman and Chris Howell. They have both crashed. Josh Matacek, Justin Michael have crashed as well.
Boy, it is all going down here right now. Still watching this battle for fourth.
Weiser, great drive off here. He'll have an opportunity to take it the long way around.
Problem for Weiser is he's using it up trying to get through on the 11 here.
Ooh. And Cappellucci
Might
shuts the
employ
door.
the
Little bumper. That'll free up a little bit.
Weiser is not being given much of a choice right now.
No.
Man, look at how loose and... Oh, Weiser really sends it there.
Ooh.
Cappellucci really slowed through that section, and here comes a 44 at the inside
Oh,
again.
that was a
Contact between
full
the
body.
two. I think Weiser's getting tired of riding behind the 11 here. Oh!
I think so. Nice crossover there. We'll see if Mario can give it right back. Or at least maintain here on driver's right. Through the keyhole. More beating and banging. They're right on each other's door. You're not missing anything up front. Sanders still maintaining a 1 second lead on Lehman. Here's Weiser. Gonna take it the long way
big
here.
Contact between
Whoa.
both of them.
Yeah.
And they're still not going to be done.
Nope.
How about this for some short track road course racing?
Yeah, oh boy. The lap trucks are actually starting to catch back up. These guys are running at each other so hard.
Yeah, the gap up to Gunter from these two is now 11 seconds and ballooning still.
Yeah, Weiser seeing his opportunity at a podium, just slip it away. Oh, problems again for Chris Howell and Corey Rutherford now. Sending it again here onto the left side into one. Weiser is through, but still well within swipe range here if Mario wants to answer with some contact of his own. Taking it around the outside, maybe looking for an out to in. Clean keyhole there for Weiser. And that may be enough to put it away without a mistake. Mario looking to answer maybe into the beach. Oh, Weiser goes long. He's loose.
Super loosened up.
Still, the positioning is enough to fend off Cappellucci.
Hard to take your eyes off this one.
Yeah, no kidding. You get the
Weiser
feeling
gonna
that Weiser would be able to drive away here.
I don't know. Weiser worked the tires pretty hard there.
Yes.
I don't think he's going to have the late run pace like he did in the first half of this one.
So he's just hoping that Cappellucci won't either. But for now, that seems to be settled. I'm sure we'll pop back in on these two at some point. But James Lehman now within half a second of Gavin Sanders after that big snap oversteer in the carousel. He has started to make that gap right back up and try and get back on the attack here. So while that was happening, in case you missed it, we had problems with Chris Howell and Corey Rutherford. We had a crash between Justin Michael and Joshua Matichek, and also Chris Howell and Steve Roman. This 88's got to be hanging on by a thread at this point.
We have a few things to look at. Let's go ahead and look at a replay of that incident for Scott Patton earlier on. Big slide there for the 46. Was right in the middle of the racetrack. Got it off. And kept it rolling. We watched this one once, but let's go ahead and take a look at this one again. This is Nate Siefker trying to make that move on Boundy. Here's the incident for Steve Roman. Same exact place, almost the same exact incident that Scott Patton had that we just watched. Here's the incident for Justin Michael. Tommy just referenced. Bonacek was off there. Michael trying to scoot on through. He sends it a little wide. Him and Haynes nearly came together with some contact there as well. Tommy also mentioned the 88 having some problems. And again, the same spot that Vroman and Patton had their incident. And Vroman has it again as he runs into the back of the 88. That has been the ultimate trouble spot here late in this race as the track temperature had risen. Now some clouds starting to cover. And the track temperature now starting to go back down to 100 degrees at this point.
Was up to 111, so huge swings in the track temperature. I'm sure it varies from spot to spot on the track as well, so that can't help. Still probably about half an hour of racing left to go. Some drivers still on the charge. Some drivers starting to fade. Others just hoping that they can keep it out of the barriers and out of other trucks.
13 laps to go. I mean, this is the last quarter of this race exactly.
Brady Gunter has faded to 5.5 seconds behind without a problem for the top two. He is not going to be a factor for the win.
Dakota DeMade starting to catch up to the 33 of Rob Haynes. And Matt Schlosser starting to lose some positions here. Well, I guess not. I'm not sure what I just saw. Had a notification that Schlosser got passed for 8th, but he is in 6th with nobody even close. 10 seconds in front, 10 seconds behind. He's all clear.
Maybe just a little blink for him. Lehman back to a truck length. He's right here. One lap fresher tires. May not sound like much, but it's not nothing.
At this point in the run, it's how well did you keep them? I remember this positioning was masterminded by Gavin Sanders coming down pit road, coming to the start-finish line where the points were going to be paid out. He gave up a position, but allowed himself to leapfrog Lehman on the pit stops as a result.
Ooh, Lehman right up to the bumper. I mean, push comes to shove. Both of those guys will make that move if they have to. We saw Gavin Sanders bumping and banging with his friend Caleb Benzie in a Truck 200 race last season. So, I mean, James Lehman's just another racer to him. And likewise for Lehman. That move will be locked and loaded.
Haven't done this yet today. We got a few drivers running cameras for us here tonight. One of them is James Lehman trying to wheel his way into the first position. Josh Monacek. Monacek running VR here tonight. Don't believe he was doing
I don't remember
that
that
last
before.
week. I think he was running on a monitor last week. So Monacek changing it up a little bit here. Oh, a little bit of a slide from both drivers there.
That was a lot of bit of a slide for Lehman. And still hanging it out.
Burt Rithford also running a camera for us here tonight.
Yeah, I do, don't I? Give some shout outs. I don't know if anybody's or if any of these folks are watching, but Caleb Benzie did pick this race to be on the schedule. Got some school stuff going on from the sounds of it. So hello to Caleb if you watch this back. Anytime we see the VR goggles, it always makes you think of Paul Ellison. So hello to Papa Paul if he's watching. And of course, hello to anybody that we know is watching, hanging out with us. Drop us a chat if you haven't already. 9 laps to go. Give us your prediction. Sanders v. Lehman.
We're going to keep Lehman's camera up for a little while down here towards the bottom of the screen. We'll see if we get any reactions as the activity starts to unfold here to close this one out.
This is Claiborne and Monacek right ahead of Sanders. Like Garrett Rainey said in the chat, they are battling for position. They're battling for 17th. They are not required to yield. Most drivers have been pretty courteous and have yielded anyway.
And yes, Monacek is wearing a Santa cap.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
we'll see that every week in December. That would be nice.
Boy, a rough couple of races for that.
Claiborne gonna let leaders through.
The month of December, I believe, it's Mid-Ohio, North Wilkesboro, Darlington, and Volusia. Good God. These guys are going to be about 10 to 15 pounds lighter through the holidays after working out here on Monday nights.
Yeah, imagine wearing a Santa cap trying to run the dirt race at
man.
Volusia. That's a rough one for sure.
Well, that's one I'm sure Monticek has got circled. And, oh, boy, Cody Claiborne nearly had James Lehman's left rear quarter panel circled there. That could have been a disaster for the 50. But now we're back to nobody between Lehman and Sanders for now. Gap stands at about 6/10.
And to Garrett Rainey's point, James Lehman and Don Golden, James Lehman with quite a bit of intensity on his face at this point. He knows that time is starting to wind down and his opportunities are starting to get pretty thin. Oh, big wheel movement there for Monticek.
Yeah, Lehman comes to win every week. I know people on Thursday nights know that, but that might be a new concept to our Monday nighters. Lehman don't play around.
And there's confirmation from Bailey Monticek.
I
Santa
find a way to
being-
find a way to wash that bad boy between the races. It's gonna get pretty stinky. A tough month.
Yeah,
Tough
he's
sledding, if you will.
He's going to need
Thank
2
you.
or 3 of those hats for Volusia. We'll have to switch it in
Like
and
tear-offs.
out between the heat races and the feature.
Find a way to do visor tear-off.
Lehman
Santa Claus
bumper to the
hats.
99.
Like I said, Lehman's not playing around. Time's winding down. Six to go at the stripe. More lap traffic ahead as well. Corey Rutherford next up.
Lehman didn't even change the expression on his face as he put the front bumper to the back one of the 99. He's ready to get it done. Only 6 laps to go to do it.
Corey Rutherford pulls off to the left side.
Lehman's entry going to be pinched off a little bit here.
Not a whole lot of battling out on track, but we got battling where it counts. Look at the traffic ahead. Speaking of battles for position, DeMade, Flaum, and Haynes are next up. And there's more ahead of them.
Yeah, they're battling nearly side by side, further up there in front of DeMade. The leaders are going to hope that they, well, at least Gavin Sanders is going to hope that they have that settled. Maybe James Lehman is hoping they don't.
Five to go.
Sanders has put a bit of a gap on Lehman here, and he's been able to hold it up to this point. Sanders would get 2 or 3 truck lengths away, and Lehman would take it right back.
Whoa, James is really deep there into the beach. He had those locked up for a while to try and not barrel off into the sand there. Lehman is pushing hard. Thought maybe he was laying back a little bit until Sanders got up to traffic, try and cool it down a little bit, but the opposite seems to be true.
Yeah, Lehman might have used it up at this point a little bit. Sanders through on Dakota DeMade. So DeMade running in 16th. Sanders has lapped all the way up to 16th here in this one. And he's looking for more. And just in front, this is Zach Flaum and Rob Haynes battling for 14th. Haynes trying to get to the outside of Flaum. They're going to try and cross it back underneath. Flaum wants to protect the inside here. Sanders gonna find a way through. Hasn't up to this point. It's gonna give James Lehman the opportunity to make up some ground here.
Well, they've each got one in each other's camp. Haynes will be blocking for Lehman. Oh, and Haynes is really loose, stepping it out. The Flaum will be trying to give the advantage here to Sanders, as Sanders is damn near into the grass to try and open the door here. And just like that, Sanders is through.
Wow, Sanders knew that he could not waste any time, and he was able to get it done, but it was a dangerous move.
Flaum staying to the right side of the straightaway here. And he will get through.
Oh, Flaum just about locked it up there.
So now Lehman watching Gavin Sanders drive away with 3 laps to go.
And Haynes and Flaum back to battling for position here right in front of Lehman. Lehman going to try to go to the inside, 3 wide.
Full send. Haynes rolls out. And Flaum goes long. And that's going to allow DeMade to get through. So Flaum will lose a spot. Andy Poliski, Sean Boundy back to battling for position here. And 2 drivers who have had a very tough day in front of Gavin Sanders. It's Chris Howell and Steve Roman battling for 26th. 2 to go. I am afraid you are correct. As teammates and friends, Dakota DeMade, Zach Flaum battling. Flaum trying to get back through. That is for 15th. Five-second gap now with a lap and a half to go. Sanders is peeled away. Thirteen more turns for Gavin Sanders to pick up career victory number 5.
Sanders is going to have quite a bit of traffic to work through here, but everybody has been pretty gracious thus far.
And Roman and Howell are battling for position here. Christopher Kresge, Justin Michael, the final two pieces on the board. That could hinder a potential victory. First of the season for Gavin Sanders.
At this point in the lap, Sanders can probably just stay behind without issue. Lehman 4 seconds behind the leader.
Kresge will let his old RIL compatriot through. And Justin Michael will yield as well. Gavin Sanders on the board. He will take Mid-Ohio. Truck 200 victory number 5 for the 99. James Lehman, first career Truck 200 podium. And Brody Gunter, 2 podiums in a row. Problems there on the final lap for Steve Roman. He is backwards across the line. Will Weiser will take 4th for the 2nd week in a row. And Mario Capellucci, a career best 5th place finish. You know, I said Gavin Sanders had a lot of road course wins in Truck 200. He only had 2, but that was 50%. So now 3 of his 5 will be on the road courses. In a night where the field has definitely showed that they have stepped up their game on the road courses, the favorite still finds a way to eke one out. And for one night and one night only, Mid-Ohio wasn't so mid. Sanders will park it, and that will be the end of the victory celebrations for Gavin Sanders. It is career victory number 5 in Truck 200 for Gavin Sanders, and that is his first win in the channel in a long damn time. Win number 21 overall. We'll talk to him here in a second. We'll talk to James Lehman in a hard-fought 2nd place here tonight. He'll lead the most laps en route to a P2. Brody Gunter will take his bronze place on the podium here after a runner-up finish last week at Atlanta. Will Weiser will finish 4th for the 2nd week in a row. Mario Capellucci will finish in P5. It is Matt Schlosser in 6th. Scott Patton, a great drive through the field for driver 46. He finishes in 7th. Kyle Allen will finish in a P8. Career best for him. Nate Siefker, likewise, in his first career start tonight, he will go P9. Sean Boundy with the top 10. Andy Poliska will finish in 11th. It's Mike Milfeld. Like it was said in the chat, he had a great drive back through the field after the spin on the opening lap to get back up to 12th. Justin Michael fought through a lot here tonight to finish in 13th. Rob Haynes in P14. Dakota DeMade will finish in 15th. Zach Flam in 16th. It is Cody Claiborne, Joshua Monachek, Alex Scarlett, and J.J. Wang, the top 20. Charlie Widener, 21st. It's Nick Goyette in P22. Dale Weiser in 23rd. Brandon Groover, Kyle Zittel, your top 25. Christopher Howell, poor guy, in 26th. At least he finished the race. Likewise for Steve Roman in 27th. Corey Rutherford, Joshua Rutherford, 28th and 29th. Christopher Kresge will finish in 30th. Brad Slagle, the last driver, running in 31st. And then it's Luke Peterson, Dan Mickle, and Peter Donchek, and Heath Smith. The rest of the finishing order, the drivers that took the green flag here tonight. Didn't send anybody home. and that's always a nice change of pace from the first couple of weeks. So we'll go in search of Brody Gunter. He'll be the first one up on the interview train. And we'll just hot swap him straight into booth 200. It's Brody Gunter back on the podium for the second week in a row. We'll take the bronze here tonight. Solid run here tonight, as we've come to expect from you on the road courses. How did it feel out there?
It felt loose. It's really loose. And then the weird thing was, as loose as I was, I actually boned my front tires more than my rear tires. 70 on both the right and both the fronts, and 80 on both the rears. So I'm trying to figure out how I did that, though.
Well, that's driving a shopping cart with four loose wheels. It kind of seems like. But with the track temperatures swinging all around, and then later in the race, lap traffic, it just had to be a bit of a sensory overload tonight.
Yeah, I just felt like from before I stopped, I felt like I did better than I was going to. I didn't wreck once. Just got a couple off tracks in the same kind of place right before Thunder Alley. It was a little weird curve. I touched the curb, I got an off track, no matter how much. But in the race itself, qualified fourth, got the third really quickly. Was behind James. I felt like I was going back and forth between gaining on him. When I got to his rear bumper, it's like I then lost him some more. So I've been back and forth tire things. After the pit stop, I think I saw I was 4 seconds behind and realized I was losing slowly, so I just started setting a slow kind of pace of just trying to make it to the end and not basically hope they were going to wreck each other. Was my only option if I was going to get a second or first.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on a good run here. Obviously, pretty tough task ahead of you here tonight, but you were really duking it out there, especially early on in the race. You kind of mentioned it. You were expecting a tough test here tonight. Have you put much practice here at Mid-Ohio? This is kind of one that some drivers hate, some drivers love, but it seems like nobody runs it a whole lot.
I can count the amount of practice laps I did on my hand as the amount of test laps I did before this. So
Oh boy.
that's how many I did before this. But I like this track. Not one of my top 5 favorites, but a very fun track. I feel like a track that you can race anything from a Mazda to an LMP to an IndyCar to a NASCAR, and it can be fun here. So very fun track. Very difficult, all the hills, but I still enjoyed it.
Difficult night, but always fun to get yourself back on the podium, especially for 2 weeks in a row. Congrats to you. Shout-outs for you.
Work in Progress Racing, CGI Graphics, Music Productions, Tone 200.
Alrighty, partner. Go rest up. We'll hopefully talk to you again next week in North Wilkesboro.
All right, thank you guys. Hopefully.
So we'll bring in now your second place finisher. First Truck 200 podium for James Lehman into truck number 50. Hard fought P2 tonight. Will lead the most laps. I'm sure it's one short of where you wanted to finish, but all things considered, a great night.
Yeah, it was a good night tonight. It was. I mean, don't get me wrong. This one grinds my gears just a little bit, Tommy. Just a little bit, because in my opinion, I threw the race win 2 laps before pitting. Is when I threw it. Getting loose going.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, getting loose, and then I threw that 3-second lead I had. Yeah, that one grinded my gears pretty bad.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, well, congrats. Still a great run here for you, James. I mean, coming to the end of the race, you and Gavin absolutely duking it out there for at least 10 laps, if not longer. I mean, did you just burn your stuff up trying to make a move on them? I mean, what kind of happened there towards the end? Because you lost a bit of time before the end of it.
Yeah, I was just burning my stuff up like those last 10, 15 laps of the run. I was just trying to get a run off the corner, and I think I had like 2 shots there, and I gave him like a bump or 2, but I was just like, I'm not gonna wreck this guy. You know, he's a good racer. He's always raced me clean. And it's difficult to pass here, man. It's one thing to catch somebody, but to pass them cleanly, yeah, is another story, you know, especially in a truck. It'd be different if we were in like a GT3 or a GT4. It'd be a little bit different, you know, but yeah, it was fun all around though. I enjoyed racing there with Gavin and Brody, especially in the first stint. I think that was the most closest we could be all together, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, getting there at the end, once I getting trapped between 2 lap cars, I just said, yeah, this is it. There was no shot.
Great to get you back up here on the podium and back at booth 200 at the end of the night. We'll look forward to that happening more and more as the season rolls along. But before we let you go here tonight, let's get some shout-outs for you.
Thanks to you guys. You guys have put this on for the third season in a row, and it's just a collaboration of everybody that's ever raced pretty much on through 300. So it's great. And yeah, just thanks to everybody at Max P that showed out and supported you guys. And if you guys are looking for a good, fun winter series, join Max V on 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Thursday nights and hosted. It's open to the public if you're looking for some fun super speedway racing. We're going to be racing a nationwide Impala this week. So
I'm sure there are plenty of people that are going to take you up on that good old classic super speedway racing. I think I'm actually free this Thursday night, so I should be able to hop in there as well. But so if you want to come school my ass, show up on Thursday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time under hosted. But thanks for the time here tonight. Congrats on the P2, and we'll hopefully talk to you again next week on the short track.
all right, take care.
And now, why can't I drag him? There we go. For the 5th time in his career, Truck 200 winner Gavin Sanders is in booth 200. Hard fought one here tonight, but he'll take the dub on some pit strategy and track position, the classic road course way.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I've been instructed to say "What the Sigma, Ohio," but otherwise it was a really long night, but it was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure plenty of brain rot after an hour and 20 minutes straight of a hard-fought racing here. I mean, James was very complimentary of you and your driving style, and I'm sure you have good things to say about him as well. But I mean, if you race around each other that long, that continuously over an hour of you two not leaving each other's sight, you had to be pretty sick of seeing that 50 in your mirror or in your windshield.
Yeah, the first stint I was a little bit anxious because being in third, I was thinking that there's nowhere to pass, and even with the traffic, everybody was being pretty respectful, all things considered. So there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity from any lap traffic, but with the undercut and how that all played out, then I knew it was up to me, and then I don't blow it. But James raced really well. I got into him a little bit, but honestly, it was really good road course stock car racing. I felt between the three of us for the first stint, and then him and I for the last stint. It was super enjoyable, and everybody was really respectful. So.
Matt, what you got for the race winner?
Oh, congrats on the great race win. I mean, obviously you had to hold on there at the end and hold the 50 off, but I mean, it was really all set in place when you came down pit road. When you were about to take your break points there, you gave one up so you could gain a bunch here in the end and get the track position. I mean, did you have that one in your head all along when you knew track position was king?
Yeah, I figured as much. I mean, once I realized that everybody was doing a one stop, not that a two stop would have necessarily panned out all that well anyways. But with the one stop, the undercut would have, I mean, it was, I think, almost 2 and a bit seconds. So, just super powerful. And I did have that. I mean, from racing so many IndyCar races and everything and Daredevil races and all that, at this track, there's nowhere to pass. There's nothing you can do unless you have lap traffic or someone really messes up. It's all in the pits. So that ended up working out well and didn't lose too much on the back end of that, back to those guys. So happy with it. It was a solid evening.
So say it sounds like the Ohio from Caleb Bency has rubbed off on you. That sounds
so
like a
mid.
season pro.
Oh my god, so mid.
Well, the good thing is, well, in my opinion, the race tonight, you know, every rule has an exception. Tonight wasn't that mid, and you certainly were not mid tonight. So you are the GOAT of Ohio for the evening.
Oh,
congratulations. God. Yeah.
Yeah,
Big honor, I'm sure.
You could call me the Rizzler of Ohio.
Oh God.
I do bring the boom for reference.
Wow. We've lost anybody that's over 30 at this point. But let's get some shout-outs for you.
This is my son. Oh my god.
Shout-outs for you for the road.
Well, thanks to you guys for putting on an awesome series. Thanks to Garrett for running the show and making sure all of us clowns stay put. Thanks to Zach for being the best and making my paint. And guys, just letting you know, the Rizzler would do it. Some might say Livy Dunn owns Echo Blade. So you should go buy Echo Blade on Steam.
Oh my god. This is all stuff I never thought I would hear on this channel. But yes, you should buy Echo Blade on Steam.
You should buy Echo Blade on Steam. There are a lot of other very interesting people who own Echo Blade on Steam.
I've heard some interesting things that are about to be happening with Echo Blade as well. That you might, some people might be very interested to buy Echo Blade here very soon if they haven't already.
Barge Dakota's door down, make me tell him what's going on.
Yeah. Well, good luck getting that out of him. I think you only have to wait a week though to find out if he doesn't tell you. But yeah, back to the matter at hand here. Congrats on the victory. Congrats on taking one for the season. Are you in for the long haul here this season?
Oh, you bet. I'm all in. I mean, I love the truck series, and hanging out with everybody in here is lots of fun. So you can count me full season.
Alrighty, that's the first shot fired here. Gavin Sanders taking Mid-Ohio here tonight. Congrats, go celebrate. We'll hopefully talk to you again next week.
Sounds good. See you guys next week.
Well, now I need to refocus my brain and get it away from classic TikTok brain rot there. But Matt Williamson, 52 laps around Mid-Ohio. We weren't sure what to expect. I would say it went well, but also the racing was quite good tonight.
Yeah, driver, it was tough there. No joke. It was tough. I mean, we saw a lot of drivers get off tracks there. Lots of incidents throughout the night. However, now those folks, I mean, even outside of the top 5, top 10, for 15th, there was a great battle going on all throughout the racetrack. And then Steve Roman and Chris Howell had a good one for a mid-20 spot there at the end as well. So drivers were enjoying it as much as they possibly could here at Mid-Ohio. And shout out to Livy Dunn, somebody I never thought would be mentioned here on Turn 200. So, and also shout out to everybody that was in the chat with us here today as well. Joshua Rutherford at Mullet Music Productions, Don Golden cheering on the Rutherford boys as always. Garrett Rainey, and again, shout out to Garrett Rainey, as Gavin Sanders said, for keeping all the clowns in line. Heath Smith, unfortunately, his race came to an end early, but thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us afterwards. And shout out to Bailey Moticek, who was here cheering on Josh as well. Looking forward to seeing the Santa hat throughout the month of December. It's Gabe Plays was here cheering on JJ Wang. Alan Sanders cheering on your race winner, Gavin. Yes, that is your son. Bruno Miranda here in the chat with us as well. Always good to hear from Bruno. And I think that was it. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching with us here this evening. We got another stream for you this week, finally.
So we sure do, but I want to give a shout out as well real quick to Kyle Allen for posting a 1X tonight. And Rob Haynes and Charlie Widener did bring that 0X home. So congrats to them. That is mighty impressive, given the circumstances here. And speaking of tight confines and seemingly impossible tasks, tune in Wednesday night. It is the ASRL Eminent Science and Graphics Sports Car Championship from Legacy Phoenix Infield. Yeah, buddy. You definitely want to see this one. It is going to be quite interesting. That is 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday nights. Catch us for that. And then that's all we got until we bring you right back here on Monday for the throwback race. The first one, the last one for Truck 200. Throwback race from North Wilkesboro at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll get to see some cool paint schemes. We're doing it Venom Truck Series style. I'm sure some drivers will bust out some classic NASCAR and IndyCar paint schemes. But these drivers have been tasked with digging up old paint schemes from their fellow racers and also from their own catalogs as well that have not been seen or haven't been seen for a while here on Turn 200. So very excited for that. We got some great painters. As good as the racing has been this season and all throughout Truck 200, the painting has always been on point, and that is a fact. So excited for Monday night. Excited to see what these drivers are going to bring to the table at North Wilkesboro, both on the trucks and on the track. That's all we got for you here tonight, though, folks. Thank you to Garrett Rainey for doing some race control here tonight. Not too much, though. We'll put him to work next week. Don't worry. He'll certainly make up for his lack of things to do tonight next week, I assure you. And thank you to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. But until we meet again here from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Circuits, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long and congratulations to Gavin Sanders on Truck 200 career victory number 5.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.